Hello, and look at our mics.
Yes, look
Those
at
of
them.
you,
They're so shiny and so nice.
those of you who can see, we decided to invest in the podcast a little bit for our 50th episode ever.
Yes.
So this is number 20 of the second season and 30 from last season. So this is our 50th episode, Justin. Can you believe
I
it?
know. Yes, we know how to do math. It's great.
It feels like just yesterday
Yes. I mean, of course
when we started.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy that we've gotten this far. Like, we're what, 3 years it took us to actually start this thing, and now we're at 50 episodes in. It's pretty exciting.
It is. It is. You dragged me kicking and screaming into this, and I'm glad you did. Glad you did.
But like I said, they're so shiny. If you look at the video version, which is on our Patreon page, which we, if you haven't heard us talk about that before, we have one. I had to move my lamp differently because it was like reflective off the mic.
Oh, it was so shiny.
It was so shiny.
Too shiny.
Yes. Isn't that a Firefly reference? Isn't right?
Yeah, because like everything was like that's like a slang for like it's cool. Like yeah, that's real shiny.
Shiny.
Yours is pretty shiny. Mine looks pretty dull, but I just have a lampshade.
It's not a representation. It's not a representation of our personality. Don't worry.
Boom, boom, boom.
So what do we do here, Paul? What do we do for 50 episodes of podcast?
For 50 episodes, Justin, we have discussed our favorite things across a variety of topics. Right, every week. Mm-hmm. Well, just about every week. Yeah. Now we're every other week.
Yeah. Well, we still talk every week.
This is true.
We just don't record this podcast every week.
That's right.
But every other week. But mostly every week. But yeah, we pick a topic, do a little research, and then try to tell each other why we like something else so much.
Yep, and Justin alluded to the video version of this podcast on our Patreon page, and you can find other things on there, and you can find our other patrons like 8-Bit Sean and Mac40K Painting and Josh Benoit. Thank you guys for your support, and you too could be a patron and come and see our videos as well as getting early access to the podcast, as well as some other cool stuff. That's right. So definitely worth checking out.
Yes, and thank you to all of our other honorable mentions on the Patreon page too. You guys are also awesome as well. But just recently,
we honor you.
Our final favorites, who we just shout out, they just recently got to check out our new bonus episode that just released recently, where we went through the Back to the Future trilogy and decided to talk about Marty McFly.
I was not very experienced with the latter half of this trilogy. I knew a lot about the first one, but my eyes were open to the second and third.
That's right. Now we want to learn what we thought of it and what Paul's new experience of it is. Go support us on Patreon.
Yep, and check it out. Now, Justin, I know it's been a while, but I'd like to reiterate, there are no formal rules for this podcast.
That's right.
We just like to talk. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to talk about this week is our favorite Wii game, our Nintendo Wii favorite, as well as the 1,000 other. This is the Wii Shop music.
That's been a surprise.
Nice, nicely done. Thank you. Copyright. We've been taken down. I've always sung my own lyrics to that song. Just when it's in. Mm-hmm. But that they're a YouTuber, and I will shout him out because he's pretty cool. Brental Floss. He does all these he puts these songs to lyrics. He comes up with lyrics for songs like this, and he has one for the Wii Shop channel, and it's really good. It's you have found the Wii Shop channel. We have so many things to sell.
It's so funny because the last couple weeks we've been talking about this. I've been just randomly humming that song. For no apparent reason, it just pops in my head. I'm just but I was saying how when we got this mic, I was beatboxing into the mic because you can hear yourself. That's the song I was beatboxing to prepare for the show.
Beatboxing the Wii Shop channel. That would be something worth putting up on the Patreon page if we could do a rap remix of the Wii Shop channel.
That's right.
That'll be good. Anyways, thank you for that little surprise. Speaking of surprises, don't you have a surprise topic for me?
Yes. So the Wii, I have a couple things to talk about with the Wii here, but I do have a question to ask you first while I pull up my Wii facts.
Hashtag Wii facts.
First off, the thing with the Wii was it was a very different type of video game experience, right? It
Mhm.
like broadened horizons for people that didn't know what video games were or cared to know.
We
So
would like to play.
so my question to you, what was your favorite place and people you played the Wii with? Like
Hmm.
where like cuz you would find it in the randomest places sometimes. So
They
you
would
would
have it at bars.
yes,
They would just
exactly.
have a Wii set up and let people play like virtual darts, instead
Yep,
of real darts, like right next to the dartboard.
I know.
They'd be like, you can play Wii darts if you want. The best, like the most fun I've had playing. Well, I don't know if this is my favorite, but it's the first one that came to mind, and that was playing it in your basement at your parents' house.
Mhm.
That was pretty fun. But I think it would have to be in my old apartment in Jersey when we had a party and we had a bunch of people coming over, and it was just I don't know why like it was like the Wii suddenly was on and people were playing and we were doing the like Wii Sports Resort, like doing the obstacle courses and or no, I'm sorry, it was Wii Fit Plus,
Mhm.
and we were playing on the balance board and using the wiimote and the nunchuck. Great names for the controllers, by the way. The Wiimote and the
Yep.
nunchuck.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was just like I don't know why it seemed like a Wii could be at like any party of like any age, and it would fit in.
Mhm.
Like people would find something to do, and it would be fun. And people would spend most of the time like making their characters, making their
I
Mii's.
know that's all you would do. Like
You know,
you would invite a new
it's like a
friend
rite
over.
of
It's like, well, if
passage.
you're gonna play Wii Sports, you have to make your own me. You can't
Yeah,
play
you're
this.
not gonna play, as my brother or something. You're gonna make your own.
Yeah,
It's like
and then
like
everyone,
a
of
house rule or
course,
something.
giggles at the penis nose because that was the funniest thing, right?
Yeah, no. I associate that nose with the big dude from ice hockey because
Yeah,
I think that's the nose that they're using, not
maybe
like the little or the medium dude, the big guys.
that's really funny. So you mentioned bars. My coolest place I played the Wii was at a bar when I lived in
Mm.
Pennsylvania, and they had a Wii bowling tournament, and we were like
What?
all in for it. We're like so excited. Like there's this place with a really awesome bar. It's called Grand Falloons, and it had the best wings, like some of the really best wings ever. So you
That's a
could,
great name for a bar too. Kurt Vonnegut reference right
oh,
there.
okay,
Yeah,
didn't know.
Grand Falloon. It's good. It's good.
Um, well, no, it was where we used to hang out a lot, and they decided to do a Wii tournament. And I had done like other video game tournaments, like they had a Guitar Hero tournament at a different bar I went to, but the Wii bowling tournament to me was awesome at a bar. It just seemed so out of place, but yet so perfect at the same time. But they did it at so you had two floors of the bar, and there was the bar was downstairs, but you can go upstairs, and then you could see like there was like it was like a railing, but you could look
Mm.
down on the bar, but you're upstairs like in these like kind of like standing areas with like little tables. There was a
Sure,
room that had
sure.
a pool table, billiards, darts, but they decided to do the Wii bowling tournament in that area where you're looking down at the bar and projecting it on this giant on the wall, like huge.
What?
So like you're
Oh,
bowling into
sounds
the rail,
awesome.
you're bowling into the wall like in over the railing,
It's
and it
bigger than
was
any bowling alley that's ever existed.
it was just so cool. I ended up losing. I was so disappointed. It's like my heart just like, oh, I'm gonna go win this. I'm really good at this game. I like to yeah, I'm so good at bowling. I know the tricks of the trade. I know how to get the
Mhm.
ball on the little gutter to do that in the you know how the
Yeah, get the nice curve.
but
Do
yeah.
you do
So
you do you adjust now? That's my question for you. When you play Wii bowling, do you adjust the curve manually, or do you do it with the Wiimote itself? Do you curve your hand? Because you could do it that way. You could curve as you release the
I
ball,
tried
or
with
you
the
could like and then like aim it, and then
I would try to do it with the twist.
yeah,
It's all about the
nice
twist.
twist.
Yeah, you gotta have a good twist.
You finished with a twist, I see.
But that's always been my biggest memory of like the Wii was like, wow, it made it to the bar. Like it made it that's how far it reached its tentacle. It's
That's how like mainstream the Wii got, was that it was at like the bar was advertising for tournaments of Wii
yeah.
games.
I mean, to be honest,
That's
it's like
pretty
it
awesome.
seems so much better than like an arcade machine. It probably doesn't is not as much maintenance. You just hook it up. You just had to pay what I think with the Wii was like $250. I think when it first came out, or something like
Mhm.
that. It wasn't that much. Just you couldn't find it. Like you couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, you couldn't find it at first, but I think a year or so later, it felt like it was everywhere. Like just about everybody had it. I mean, my in-laws had it.
Hmm.
One of the reasons why I liked the Wii so much was I didn't ever buy the Wii. Kristen, my wife, had the Wii,
Yeah,
and she wasn't like a video game person. And I was like, you have a console, and one of her favorite games was Link's Crossbow Training.
I never
She
had that.
still has it. Like we still have it. She was like, "Oh, can we play that again sometime?" I love that game. I'm like, "Do you even know what game this is like from?" She was like, "Yeah, it's a Zelda game." She's like, "Maybe I'd like to play that." I'm like, "There's not a lot of crossbow training in it though." She was
Well,
like,
I
"Oh, well
mean,
then maybe not."
you do train a little bit with your bow and arrow,
You do train. You do aim your slingshot. You aim a lot
there's
of
that
things,
the
but
little mini game where you're on the horse in Ocarina of Time, where you're like on the horse, but whatever. Anyways, we're not talking about that.
yeah, I mean, it was. After a while, it seemed like it was everywhere. And people that never owned systems, or like I said, like my in-laws, I would never imagine them buying a console for anything.
Yeah.
Like had it, like it was just ubiquitous. It was everywhere. It was
Hmm.
great. They like Nintendo really. Everyone kind of made fun of it at first and was like, "Oh, what is this goofy premise?" And
Hmm.
then people started to realize just how fun it was.
See, I
And
remember
everyone started to imitate
I
them.
always got sucked into the whole like Nintendo gimmick. Like because the GameCube, I always loved that system a lot, but didn't really. It felt like it was just trying to be another system. It wasn't like that
Yeah,
Nintendo feel to it.
it had a
And
handle.
I mean, yes, and it had a colorful. We've talked about the GameCube, but like colorful
Mm-hmm.
buttons. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, the Wii. Like I remember when I first saw I actually rewatched the reveal trailer before the show, and I remember like blown away by it. I was like, this is the future of gaming. Like this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It just to me it just blew my mind. But the funny thing is they've been kind of trying to do this motion control stuff for a long time. I mean, you think about it, the Nintendo Power Glove was kind of the first Wiimote. I mean, if you think about
Huh.
it, right? You know, they've always tried to do these weird motion control or virtual reality or 3D or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but they fail sometimes.
Yes.
And the Wii just hit right at the right point, and they
Mm-hmm.
marketed the marketing of that system was phenomenal. And I think it just spoke to so many people. But the problem with the system, as maybe we talk about it later, is that it sold a lot of systems, but that's all it really did. Like it
Mm-hmm.
didn't know like you just people could just buy like you say your your
My
in-laws bought a
in-laws.
Wii,
Mm-hmm.
but how many games did they buy for it?
Hmm.
It's like did they just
Like three, two
yeah
or three.
yeah
They got the Wii Sports that came with it. They'll buy Wii Fit and they'll
yeah
get the balance board, and then some random one like I don't know, something
whatever the name of
like
them yeah
Just Dance or something
yeah which they're
for
still
for
making
Wii.
for the Wii by the way. They just came
They
out with
no
just
that
in 2020.
the last one that was the last one,
The last
2020.
one.
And if you, I was looking at like the release date of games, and the last 5 years have been just that.
Yep.
Just Dance 2020,
Yep.
19, 18. So they have been the only games made for the Wii. It's just Ubisoft Montreal making just
It's
just dance
Well, I
games
mean that's the
for the
thing.
Wii.
Here's my Wii facts for you. So the Wii sold over 101.63 million. Well, it sold 101.63 million. It is the sixth best-selling console.
Mm-hmm.
Recently got knocked into
Wow.
sixth place by the PlayStation 4,
Okay. Well,
which
that makes sense.
that just hit 110.4 million. For some context though, we shouldn't have brought this up in our other console episodes. That's why I kind of felt like it'd be nice to sort of bring this up because it is one of the better selling consoles. It's definitely one of the fastest selling ones, if
Sure.
anything. But the PlayStation 2 sold 155 million.
So what's the ranking? Can you give me the 1 to 6 then?
Sure.
If the Wii
It
is at
is so
6,
it's PlayStation 2 is one,
wow, they're number one.
155 million.
Wow.
Nintendo DS Family. Like that's the thing that's kind of weird. Is like they consider it like the DS Family.
So
So it's
does that
not
count
considered.
3DS?
No, it does not count 3DS. Like the DSi, the DS Lite,
Okay,
like
well that's
those.
fine.
Yeah,
I mean, those were awesome. I mean, I wanted to. I had such a hard time finding one of those. Like, I
hmm
wanted to buy a DS and I just couldn't get one.
yeah. I ended up getting a DSi towards the end of its life. It's really
Hmm.
good. A lot of good games on it, but that's 154 million Game Boy and Game Boy Color,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
118
sense.
million. Then PlayStation 4, 110.4 million, which obviously could get bigger because it's still being sold. And then so that could potentially jump over Game Boy. I could see it potentially selling 8 million more. PlayStation 4,
Hmm.
but then the PlayStation really has rocked out systems. The only one that didn't really do the greatest was the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, well, they had a myriad of problems.
Yeah,
PlayStation
they
3,
they
but
they end up edging out at the end though against 360 though. But the
really,
Wii, yeah, the Wii end up the Wii's obviously just below the original PlayStation, just below it.
wow,
Um,
wow. Original PlayStation is kind of like the Wii in that it had a ton. Well, I don't know. There
yeah,
was a ton of games for the original PlayStation, right?
yeah, there is a lot of shovel, like what I call shovelware, I guess is what you call it. You just
Shelfware.
shovel it away.
Oh,
But I just thought that
but
was like kind
very
of
nice. I
interesting to
like your
bring
Wii
up is
facts.
that the Wii was everywhere and everything. So I did also have the list of the top selling games, and maybe we'll talk about some of these later after we do the break. But I thought we just
Okay.
kind of bring up those as well because I thought that'd be
What?
kind
Just out of curiosity, do you want to tell me what is the highest selling game of the Wii? Is that one you'd be willing to share?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna list off top 5 just for the heck of it.
Oh, okay. You are good. Good.
Yeah.
Go for
Well,
it, Justin.
well, the
Give us
top
your Wii facts.
the top one is kind of like it doesn't. I don't think it counts, but they've always considered that because it was bundled in with the system. So it is.
Wii Sports.
Yeah, Wii Sports is number one.
Wii Sports.
Oddly enough, it's 82.9 million. So I guess there must have people have bought bundles that didn't include it later on.
Okay. Or people returned it. They're like, I don't want this free game
I don't
that
think
comes with the
that doesn't
system.
count. Returning doesn't.
I don't like sports.
But second is Mario Kart Wii. Then the third is Wii Sports Resort.
It's a good game.
But here's like something to consider. Like, so your top selling Wii game is 82.9 million. The next one is 37.32 million.
Yeah, that seems more accurate.
It's a big drop off, right?
Yeah. Well, one is bundled with the main system that almost everybody got, right? Like, it was I think the Mario Kart bundle was the other bundle. And then maybe there might have been a Smash Brothers bundle as well.
I think there's also a Wii Sports Resort one, too. I think there was.
You think so? A Sports Resort one?
Maybe. I know there was a bundle with the Resort to get the Wii Plus adapter.
Were any of the Mario games bundled with the Wii?
I don't know.
Maybe later on, but
probably later on. But,
okay.
But yeah, Wii Sports Resort, New Super Mario Brothers Wii. And then Wii Play, which I never played that actually.
I think we have that one. Kristen got that one, and I played it a couple times. It's like bar games. It's like darts.
Yep.
It's not very fun. There's like a tanks game. It's like we played it like once or twice. It's like it's not very fun, but it's okay. But that's number 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the thing. Like people that bought the Wii didn't buy games in the gamers that bought the Wii, like the people that actually grew up playing games or wanted it. They just and you'll learn from me too. Is I just kind of got tired of the Wii because there wasn't like the games I wanted to play weren't on the system. So I really wanted to kind of mature my gaming experience, and then that's where you got the 360 or the PlayStation 3 for. So I think that's where they're the ones that continue to buy games. Where people that bought the Wii, I think they that mainstream audience that they marketed to, they just bought the system, and then that's all they did.
Yeah.
And and I think that was like sort of what happened towards the tail end of it. Is like there was never really a game that came out at the end of the life of the Wii that was exciting, except for a couple. But
I think there were a couple of good ones towards the end, but not too many. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, we'll probably talk about them. Yeah. So why don't we take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll get right into our honorable mentions and probably our huge list of shout-outs.
All right, and we're back to continue our discussion of favorite Wii game. Paul, I think you're going to go first. I do want to show off my shirt, though, because it's another reason to go check our video episode on our Patreon page.
I see Bowser.
Yeah,
I won't say anything else.
This is definitely something that was on the Wii. Because every Super Nintendo game was on the Wii, if you remember the Virtual Console.
Yep. Okay, I guess that counts too. And then they remade a lot of them. It's like the thing that happens with every new generation of Nintendo game. It's like the thing that we made 20 years ago, 64.
Yeah.
Like just put super this.
If you go through the list though, when you look at the list of the Wii games, it's like Pikmin 2, Play Control, Pikmin 1, Play Control.
New Play Control. New Play Control. So I'm just gonna reveal my favorite right now, really quickly. A Wii game. It's the Donkey Kong with the bongo drums. No, I just have to mention that really quickly.
That was a GameCube
I've never
game,
played that for a minute.
That wasn't a Wii game. That was a GameCube game.
Was it a GameCube game?
Yeah. But
New play mode for the Wii.
It works on the Wii because it's backwards compatible. So I'll give you that one. It's okay.
We're not doing a GameCube podcast episode, so I just want to everyone remember that there was a Donkey Kong game where you played with bongos.
We should do a GameCube one, though. I think we should. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay. Well, I could probably manage that. My first honorable mention, Justin, though, on the real, is Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Wow.
It's came out like in 2011. I've kind of been like a secret Kirby fan. Not really secret. I just really like Kirby and I don't really talk about it. I don't know. It's just fun. I don't know. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure.
I picked Kirby's Adventure for the NES as my favorite NES game, so I love Kirby as well. And I never played the one on the Wii though. I did any of them.
Oh, I think you would love it. I actually played a lot of it co-op with my nephew. Like I had played through like a good deal of the game, and then he kind of like joined in, and you could play 2 players simultaneously like that. And I know Epic Yarn was a good game. Like it was fun. But it still didn't really feel like a Kirby game to me, It was meant to be something else. It's kind of like a Super Mario 2 kind of syndrome. But I can't remember too much about the story, but I believe you do get to be Meta Knight in this game as well as Kirby, and it's just fun. It felt like a Kirby game, and there was enough like new elements in it that made it interesting, and that you weren't just fighting King Dedede. It was like this whole thing of like I forget, like it's some kind of like invading, or you're trying to like help this alien creature like restart his spaceship so that he can escape Dreamland. But I don't know, like the abilities that Kirby has in this are like just really fun. They're really fun to use. The powers, there's some classic ones and there's some new ones that are really
so every Kirby game tends to tweak the mechanic a little bit. Or do something unique. What was unique about this one? Do you remember that?
Unique about this game? Well, I think what I really loved about it was actually being Meta Knight. Like actually playing like a good portion of the game you could as Meta Knight. Once you're, and like the way the levels were, so like you would be playing like a regular level, and then like it would suddenly change, and you would be playing like a first-person shooter kind of.
Okay.
Like they would throw like the mini games. You know how like at the end of each level, and like in Kirby's Dream Land, you'd have like the different kinds of mini games, like the claw game or the jump game,
or the what's the one? The one I always loved was the quick draw mini game.
Yes. So there are mini games like that, but they're kind of like weaved into the levels too. So it's really fun. I'd say like they took the really fun elements of a classic Kirby game and just kind of like up the ante just a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like Kirby over time, like you don't talk about Kirby, because I remember like NES Kirby when he first came out, when he first became big. It's like it was okay to be a Kirby fan, but I feel like as it like got later and later and the games got mature, it's like Kirby just seemed to not really get bad as a game. It's just like you look at it, it's like, well, I don't really want to talk about Kirby with people because there's not really isn't much to say about it. It's like, yeah, it's a fun game. You eat people.
It's a game for babies. Like
now, if you talk about Kirby in the essence of Smash Brothers, it's a different conversation.
Oh,
like, you play Kirby?
Very much so.
Oh, yeah, Kirby, yeah. I've done this with Kirby.
See, that's what I love about him. He's like this little lovable dude, but he's like incredibly dangerous. Like that's what his real characteristic is. He's probably like an overpowered, like if he was in the Marvel universe, he'd be way overpowered. The fact that he can absorb anybody's power and also eat them, like that's kind of unstoppable if you ask me. But No, there's something about like the design of Kirby games that have always like caught my eye. I know they're kind of cutesy, but I like cutesy sometimes when it's done well. When it's not like cloyingly sweet. This is like just the right amount of
Well,
like,
because
I'll do chef's
it's
kiss
got the
for
cute look to
Kirby.
it, but Kirby like is a badass. Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
like some of the weapons and abilities he gets, he looks freaking awesome. Like it's just
Yeah,
done in a
sword.
very kind of like artsy kind of cutesy style. Like and maybe that's why Epic Yarn didn't sit right because it lost that kind of it almost went too far, right?
Yeah,
I miss the Epic Yard games. Like I that's the thing with the Wii. Like I miss some of the games that I would play now and like really dig deep. Like I got the Wii at a very weird time. Like you kind of picked up somebody else's Wii, I feel like, and you got a chance to play some older games. I just kind of like flew by the Wii, got the ones that were really important to me, and then just moved on. You know, like I didn't stick around much for it. But
gotcha.
like there's so many
Well,
games, there's so many games I miss playing for the Wii that I've always wanted to, but I just kind of
I think you would really enjoy this, and I bet this is a game like I almost want to play with my son too, because he would, like he would get into it. It's like I don't know. There's something like appealing about the accent. Like anybody can kind of just like sit down and play a Kirby game and kind of get it. Anybody that's played a Mario game could, after a fashion, figure out how to play a Kirby game. But
yeah,
I will say
there's
this: the one because you're asking me about like a unique thing about this. It's not necessarily unique, but what I thought was interesting. One of the abilities you get in this game was to be in a giant boot, like the boot in Super Mario 3. If you remember that, like they can go over spikes and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a giant boot in Kirby as well. I don't know
So
why that just hit my brain,
see the
but
one Kirby game that really got its teeth sucked into me besides the NES one was the 64 one. So the Kirby 64, I think it was like Crystal Chronicles or something. I don't remember what it's called, but like
the
that
Crystal Chronicles.
I don't remember. Yeah, it's not that, but I did something like that. But that one I played like crazy because, and maybe we'll talk about it if we ever do a 64 console episode. But like you could fuse the abilities. So if you got electric and ice, you'd fuse them together and you turn to a refrigerator and you'd throw food out.
Yep.
It was like I just love that. But like if you got like electric and sword, you got a double bladed lightsaber. Like that.
That's right.
That was so good on that. I love Kirby games are great, and there's little secrets. That's like the advanced level is to find the secret parts, right?
That is, and that's one thing that I feel like that's why I didn't mind like starting the game over again and playing it almost immediately after because I just wanted to keep seeing what else I could unearth in these games and in that game in particular. But yeah, man, Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Nice.
You could still probably find it for the Wii. I wonder if they would port this to the Switch or something. It would be, or if there's some way that you can get your hands on it.
We're
Super
about
fun.
the third anniversary of the online system. Last year they did the Super Nintendo app, so maybe we'll get another app, but probably I don't know I don't know what would be next.
What do you think would come next? Do you think they would do 64?
I don't
Christ,
know.
everybody would buy a Switch if they were gonna have a 64 emulator, basically. It wouldn't be too hard, I don't think. I think they could do it.
Maybe.
Listen, we were trying to get Reggie for the show, and I think if he's listening, he should really take note that maybe he should do a 64.
Well, he doesn't work there anymore. He can't make any decisions.
Yeah, but he's an influencer at Nintendo. He could tweet something and make it happen, Justin. Can't you see? All right, Justin, why don't you tell me what's your first honorable mention?
Well, I do want to give a quick shout out. It's for a game I've never played. And the only reason I'm shouting out is because Amber loved this game, and I promised I'd shout it out. It's like the first game she really ever beat, because she wasn't really ever a gamer or like into video games too much. And like I remember, she's like, I want to buy this game. This is the game I really want to play. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll get it for the Wii. And that's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
We have that game.
It is actually, from my perspective,
Kristen had that game.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty awesome Harry Potter game. Like I remember watching her play it.
Yeah.
And like you had like you got to walk around Hogwarts. There was like little secrets here and there. Like it just you do like side. I don't know. It just I had to shout it out because it was a special place in my wife's heart.
I will say I started to play it because I was just looking through her little like booklet of Wii games. I was like, "You have a Harry Potter game?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I didn't get very far in it." and I tried it out, and the first thing that you see is Gary, like a sprite of Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, like, "Hello, Harry." It's all like weird and
Yeah,
wobbly, just
yeah,
like kind of like sort of like, "This is the Order of the Phoenix's headquarters. You can stay here as long as you want and do like." It was just like, okay, I'm done with this shit. Like, I think I
yeah,
played it for like 5 minutes, and like the controls were just so
yeah.
wonky. I was
But
like,
you played
no,
out. What was
no,
it like
not
a
for
lot?
me. Not
I'm
now.
assuming it was a lot later. It came out, right? It was like way later. You played this.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 360 by that point
Yeah.
and was
I
deep
don't know.
into.
Amber, like not knowing games too well, like really got dug deep into it. Like using the
Mhm.
we don't really talk
Sure.
about the motion controls too much, but like you had to do
Oh
different spell
yes,
things and stuff. And
do your spells.
so I did want to shout that out.
Very nice.
So oh man, okay. So my first honorable mention, and I really wasn't sure how to like throw these out here because I wasn't sure what you'd bring up. Kirby is not what I expected. Um, but I do want to give. I could speak to it a little bit. This is a game I think it only worked on the Wii. I think it came out for other consoles, and I remember like really, really getting excited for this game, and I was like really happy for what happened afterwards. I didn't like the sequel though, and this
Okay.
game is Disney's Epic and Mickey.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I know about that sequel. That sequel's like infamous. Like, there's tons of copies of that
yeah.
still available in
Oh,
stores.
I didn't know that, but
You can find it in a Best Buy, I bet.
so like I actually like I got the sequel for the Wii U because it came out for the Wii U, I think, or I don't
Okay.
I think my brother gave it to me as a Christmas present. Like, you love the first one, here you go. I'm like, cool. Like, I didn't even know it was bad yet because it would just like come out and he's like, here's a present. And I'm like, or he told my mom to buy it for me or something. I can't really quite remember. I remember like putting the sequel in. And I'm just like, I don't like this. This is not good. Like, why is this so bad? The first one was so
Uh,
good. I
I
think it
heard a
just
lot of good things about the first
the
one.
first one. I just think it was a one-time thing though. I think you can't recreate it and try to make a new experience because that experience was so unique and different. It's sort of hard to redo it again and try to like
Sure.
add cooperative mode and all this. That was the big thing with the second one is it's two players. But like the beauty of that game is like it's like a Disney nostalgia fever dream, and like
Hmm.
you're kind of going through these worlds and you're using your Wiimote to paint the world in a sense and to try to like bring color back. I can't even remember like the actual story to be honest, but like you meet like this like rejected cartoon from the original Disney World, which is like like I think his name's Oscar or I have like
Yes.
I think it's Oscar.
No, because is that the one that's in the second one? Is he
Yeah,
the guy that's in the
he's
second
in the
one?
second one, but he's like kind of more of a bad guy. He's not really a bad guy, but like he's just kind of jealous and he sucks Mickey into this thing because and then it's the old school Mickey, like the mischievous Mickey, not like this like kid friendly Mickey later in life. It's like the one that
Yeah. It's
because
like Steamboat Willie
yeah,
Mickey.
kind of. I mean, more like the behind the what's the behind the looking glass that Mickey who like does like mischievous things and but there was a
Okay.
sense of like
Okay.
bad and good like so you can go through a level and maybe do like a bad choice or a good choice, but it wasn't like Mass Effect bad good. It's like oh I'm gonna kill everyone. It's just like you're either being the mischievous Mickey or the helpful Mickey, and there was just sort of like this weird feel and it was really kind of just the level design of that game was really awesome. The Wii mechanic was really cool because that's like it made you use the remote like how it was supposed to. I mean that's the one
Hmm.
thing with the
Hmm.
Wii that I don't feel like a lot of the games really took advantage of the motion controls as much because like I feel like some of the games we'll talk about like you could just put that on a different system and it would have played the same. Like the little
Sure.
waggle didn't
Sure.
add much to it, which I feel like
Hmm.
the Wiimote
The
was really
waggle.
the waggle or the just like the control itself related to him and that paintbrush that he had,
Hmm.
and it just sort of clicked right where I don't think it would have really kind of resonated as much in a different system. As much as I really got, I just remember being so hyped for that game. I mean,
It looked really cool, like the art, and I mean, like it seemed as you were saying, like it was drawing on that nostalgia, or like seeing Mickey, in a way like a classic Mickey, and I absolutely agree with you. It's kind of like a one time thing. You can't like do that and then do a sequel of it. It didn't feel right. Like once I saw that there was an Epic Mickey 2, I was like, no, you should have stuck with Epic Mickey.
The only thing that would have made that work is if they did a sequel, it was like would have waited like a generation and then done like a better graphical up the graphics. That's the one thing about that game that was kind of like blew my mind was like how it like took that art style and made it work on like really kind of a crappy hardware of the Wii, because the Wii really didn't have the best horsepower. I feel like sometimes the GameCube was better than the Wii in a certain degree. It like almost like went down a level, like a half a notch sometimes, because they're just like, it just didn't look as good for some reason. It didn't display as well as some of the GameCube games did. And I just think like giving it like a time to breathe and then revisiting it might have worked, because you could have done maybe better things or different things or worked with better technology versus just kind of rehashing the same idea or just and then adding a co-op mode.
It might have been better like suited for the Wii U to be like something you did with a tablet, or maybe for the Switch, like something that's more specifically. Yeah, no, I could see that. Like, but, it needed to wait a little longer.
I just feel like it's one of those games that you people forget that existed too. Like I wanted to give it like its time to shine, because it really was a magical game. It really has some really good moments. Like I don't really remember a lot of it because it's been so long since I played it. But I remember like being like excited for that game for like months, reading it in Game Informer magazine, seeing the artwork and seeing what their inspiration was from like the old Cast of Illusion video games, and just like the just kind of that vibe of like nostalgia. And it's Oswald, not Oscar, by the way. I double checked.
Oswald. Okay.
And it's just like you kind of just see it's just littered with this old, very old Disney like kind of like history, and it was just it was just such a cool game. And then you'd have like the little kind of side scrolling levels too, so you would like hop into an old like Disney like Steamboat Disney cartoon, and you had to like kind of like it almost made me think of like those little like those little like handheld Tiger games where you had to try to like
yes, like Mr. Whatever
Game
he's in
Watch?
the Smash Brothers.
Game and Watch?
What the hell is his name? Mr. Game and Watch, yes.
Yeah, kind of like that, but not like exactly. Those... I mean, you're still doing like the more like Cuphead, I guess would be a better example. Like that was kind of the vibe I got.
Yes, that kind of classic style.
And no, it was just it was a good game, and I think it was a unique game, and I think it deserves an awesome shout out or honorable mention.
All right, it deserves to be honored. Mm-hmm. Good, we honor it here. Well, Justin, I got a couple shout outs I want to burn off that you just kind of reminded me of before I get into my next honorable mention. And one that just the idea of using the Wii remote as like as a tool. The game Okami, I got to play it way later. I played it maybe like 7 years after it came out.
I've always wanted to play that game, and I missed it.
It's beautiful. It's all like Japanese folklore, and like, but the presentation, it's kind of like cell shaded, but it's beautiful to look at. The story is really interesting. I didn't finish it. I got about I think halfway, like 44%, something like that through the game. But it was fun. It was unique enough that it didn't feel like it was too repetitive, because a lot of those Wii games with the motion control, you kind of felt like you were just, as you were saying, like doing the same waggle over and over and getting the same or different results. But it was interesting enough because it included the element of like that kind of like Japanese calligraphy, where you use that big thick kind of like paintbrush and like kind of like really blot and like draw like heavy characters with like a really dark ink.
Another paintbrush game.
What's up?
Another paintbrush game.
yeah, but I don't know. It was really cool. Like you were controlling the wolf, and the design of the characters was really cool. Really liked it.
Good shout out.
One that I will also shout out that I don't think you played at all, but maybe you know a little bit about it, is Muramasa, the Demon Blade.
Oh,
do you know anything about that?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't remember it though.
Late console, side-scrolling, perfectly competent beat 'em up, hack and slash beat 'em up game. That's it. Just a fun game. I didn't know anything about this IP or who Muramasa is, if that's a name or what, but it was just fun. It was just a fun game. Fun game with blades.
I remember this coming out, and I remember it being like talked about. It was spoken of highly. I don't remember people disliking this game. I remember it had a
But
really
like you were
cool art
saying about
style.
like it's like Epic Mickey, like nobody's going to talk about this game again. I just have to like give Muramasa a little head nod
Oh,
and
you know
say
what?
good
I remember
job.
I kind of wanted to play this game because it made me think of. I mean, I brought up that game Odin Sphere,
Yeah.
so it made me.
Oh yeah, it is kind of similar to those games.
Yeah, like it made me think of that. And I like, oh, that looks like a really cool art style, and
Hmm.
I would want to play it, but I just never got around to doing it.
You would like it. It was a decent story. The gameplay was fun. I'll let you borrow it if you want.
I don't have a
But
Wii anymore.
don't have a Wii anymore. Do you still have your Wii U? Is it backwards compatible?
I don't have it
Um,
anymore.
well, my next honorable mention, Justin, is the Wii Sports Resort.
I knew you.
Because
I knew.
I
I knew you were
love
going to
this
bring this
game
up.
so
I knew
much.
it.
We logged so many hours
So
playing
I
this
just want to say,
game.
you will probably always say the Wii Sports Resort is probably better than the Wii. That's what Wii Sports, right? It's way better than the Wii Sports.
Well, it's not that Wii Sports is bad. Wii Sports is fine. It's a great game. Wii Sports Resort has like 3 times as many games and like a lot more fun games. Like it's
So could you relate it to like Rock Band 3 to Rock Band 1? Like you just why even get
no,
Rock
Rock
Band
Band
1?
3 sucks. Isn't that the one with Slash? Isn't that
No,
the
that's
or
you're
is
thinking
that the
Guitar
one with
Hero.
Oh, I'm thinking of Guitar Hero.
Rock
Yes.
Band
I'm
3
sorry. I'm
just pretty
sorry. I'm
much
thinking about that terrible Activision
Rock
Guitar Hero
Band 3 just
game.
brought all the songs into one game. Like that's what it did.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's that difference. Like Rock Band is good. There's nothing wrong with Rock Band. Rock Band 3, some tweaks, but for the most part it's just like we'll bring it all on board here. You can play these games.
Yeah, just throw out your Wii Sports
So
game. Return it. Get rid of it.
first of all, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the story, the campaign of Wii Sports Resort. Look at that look on your face. It's just viewers and listeners. Justin just gave me this
Go
like
to our
what
Patreon page and go check
campaign?
it out.
There is a little bit of a story to it. I mean, you are on the beach resort of I think it's called like Woohoo Island, like
Really?
like WUHU Island,
Or Weehoo.
Woohoo
Is it
Island.
Weehoo?
No, not Weehoo, Woohoo. Uh, get it? So on Woohoo Island, you can play things like you can do cycling, which is actually pretty fun, archery, bowling, golf, table tennis, basketball. But the best games, I'm going to tell you, frisbee, super fun. You can play frisbee golf, really fun, really competitive, insanely competitive. Between me and my wife. And the air sports stuff was pretty fun. You got to do like basically skydiving, which is like parachuting. It was like pilot wings, but done right. You got like there was a dogfighting game, mini game, and a piloting one, and parachuting one, and that's actually how the game starts. That's the opening of the campaign. Is you're parachuting onto Woohoo Island.
Yeah,
So
I just checked. It is Woohoo Island. You're right.
thank you.
Fact check.
But my favorite game by far of all these, and I didn't even beat it. I wasn't able to complete it all the way to the end, but I got pretty far. Is the sword play, not the one-on-one like American Gladiator style sword play, but there's like a little bit of a campaign where you start like in the morning and then it goes to the afternoon level and then the evening, and the music is great. You're fighting other people like in pads. You're basically kind of like decked out like a samurai in armor, and you're fighting other like just like all of your Mii's. They're like swarming you, and you just have to like keep fighting and defending. And it's difficult, but it's so fun. And the music like is straight out of like a samurai movie. It's just like a lot of the like hitting a reed like it's like pumps you up, and you're fighting with it, and you're actually using the Wii remote like a sword, which is all I wanted to do.
With the Motion Plus though, because you had the extra motion.
Yes, you had to have the little power pack on the bottom there to give you extra.
Eventually they built
motion.
It into the new. If you bought new Wiimotes, it eventually be built.
Yep,
into
it was built in. We had to get the thing, and they had a special what we called the condom wrapper.
Yep.
You know the things, the special little holders to keep it in. They came with it. They came with Wii Sports Resort. Actually, that's how we got those.
Yeah, they were bundled into that game. I remember that.
Yeah.
The only time I played that game was at your apartment. Like we visited you, and we played the Wii Sports Resort. That's the only
so
thing
good.
I had it.
So good.
So,
I just have to give it its due.
What is your favorite game then? Out of all like Wii Sports Resort, what is your favorite one? Like favorite mini game?
It's a tie between frisbee golf and sword play. I really like the sword play a lot, but I get a lot more time playing the frisbee and frisbee golf. It's just
I
really fun.
I mean, obviously, I played a lot of tennis in the original Wii Sports. Like, I
Mhm.
don't, I wasn't really gonna bring up Wii Sports in the show, but I knew it was we talked about. So I did a lot of tennis, but then I found we actually were like testing out how to play it. Like, we'd walk around the corner and not even watch, and just like kind of listen, and
Yep,
then just and
yep,
just
yep. You just
flick
return.
it. But I love the boxing in the original one because you
Ooh,
really got
yeah,
into
that's fun.
that. The boxing was a lot of fun. Like, I remember that was such a weird. I wanted more games like that, like
Hmm.
doing those like kind of
Hmm.
like actions and move around and stuff. But I feel like it just there's only so many ways you can do that, and you don't. It doesn't work if it's a different gloss of paint. There wasn't really any kind of like uniqueness to bring those type of motions with the motion controls.
Yeah, I remember there was the Punch Out game for Wii, right? And it
Hmm.
was and like you could do the motion controls, but it really wasn't that fun to
Hmm.
do. Like it was actually much harder to use the motion controls than to just press the buttons. Most of the time, you just end up saying like, screw it, I'm just pressing the
I
buttons.
mean, to be honest, like the Switch has some amazing motion games that I wish that they had brought out for the Wii. Like, one of them is
Hmm.
and we'll probably get there because I know you're new to the Switch, so we can't do that episode yet. But the
We'll
one
get there eventually.
is oh gosh, what's the name of it now? Um, oh man, it's driving me crazy now. What the name of that game is? It was one of the launch titles for the Wii. I'm gonna Google it, and I'm gonna be mad at myself for not thinking of what it
What
is.
kind of game was this?
It's a punching game. It's like a punching like fighting game for the Switch.
Not Red Steel. No,
No. And I'm making myself
punching fighting game.
Arms.
Arms. Oh, I remember that.
And I played that once. I don't own it, but like I remember like playing in the motion control. I'm like, wow, this is like really cool. It's like a third person fighting game, but yet like it's kind of like a shooter. Like
Hmm.
you're kind of
Hmm.
like fighting with like punching, but you're aiming your arm like
Yep, like
at
your
the.
long extendo
But you
arms,
can
right?
play it with the little Joy Cons because those are just pretty much little mini Wiimotes. That's really what they
Yep,
are. I mean,
yep.
like, but I love how they didn't really get away from the motion controls. It's still there. It's just sort of like secretive in the
Yeah, it's
Switch.
like it's like hidden in games now. Like you don't necessarily need it, but in some places you do, and it's
Yeah,
not like intrusive. It's not like it has to be a motion control game. Like
yeah.
you can't complete it with it without it. But no, man, I love this game, and I swear, like I will. Just thinking about this now, I'm ready to plug the Wii back in. I mean, it's still I have it still hooked up to the TV. I just got to plug it in. I'm gonna get that out and get the balance board out. I will say I think in I forget I think it might have been like Wii Fit Plus, and I'll just give that one a quick shout out.
Oh my
There was
God.
this there was a Segway game that was the bane of our existence. Like Kristen, it was like her mission to beat this Segway game, and it was all about like balancing on the Wii balance board and holding the remote sideways like this,
I couldn't do
and
the Wii
like
Fit.
trying to do this, and you're chasing a mole that's like he's got like balloons on his back. And you're trying to pop the balloons. I had nightmares about this
My
mole.
parents gave me the Wii Fit because they bought it for my brother, and like they just didn't use it. So they're like, you have it. You're overweight. Like, thanks,
This will help.
thanks, mom. And the game tells you that it's like you were obese.
Uh huh. I'll tell you, it was a very proud day when because I was bigger, and it said like it was the day that it was like overweight, and I was like, yes, I'm overweight. I'm not obese
Yeah, because
anymore.
they base it on BMI, so it's like it's just like it was
Hmm.
like it's so weird. But anyways,
It doesn't take into any factor other than like your height and weight, and
so
that's
this is a tough one here because I don't know what your next honorable mention is, and I have a couple I know my favorite is, but like I have a couple I could pick for my honorable mention.
mm, which way
Um,
are you gonna go?
I feel like I'm gonna have to go this way.
You're
And,
not gonna pick my other honorable mentions or my favorite. I don't think.
oh, I know, but
So
this
go for it.
one I played a crap load on the Wii, and Amber loved it too. And we like got through everything, like every little hidden thing, and found everything in the game. And that's Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Okay. I knew we were going to talk about one of these.
So that's the only Lego game I could
one.
ever really get into is like the Lego game
Oh.
for Star Wars. I can't. I've tried the Harry Potter ones. I've tried the Batman ones. They're just I don't know what it is. I can't seem to get into them as much as the.
They're I don't know. I think you're right because there's something about like the Star Wars game that's just it makes sense. Like the way that they use the Force powers and that.
I think
The
that's it
Lego
because you
like
have
building things and
It's like
moving things.
I feel like they made like when you got later in the games, the Harry Potter one wasn't too bad, but like I feel like they made it so like the different abilities for each character were just like very I don't know. It was just like when the Star Wars game is just like you run around, it's like, oh, I need R2D2 now. Go in there. You need Annie, the small boy, to go through the little like
small boy. It's just a small boy.
Yes, we're shouting out a podcast that I kind of funny that I listened to.
Justin finally got me sort of into kind of funny, and that like broke me just seeing. He's just a small boy.
I should get Annie. I have a little thing somewhere of him, but
little Annie.
But no, I remember like me and Amber both loved that game. Obviously, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I mean, that's the big thing. I haven't talked about Star Wars too much on this show recently. But it was
you've been very nice. You've been very
nice.
You've been very well behaved.
It's better than the other Star Wars game I play on the Wii, which is The Force Unleashed.
Dude, I played that one for the Wii too.
And you know what? I think we just play on the wrong system because there's a lot of people that love that game.
What were they playing it for? Was it original Xbox or was it 360?
Well, it was supposed to be for the PS3 360. That's what it. That was like the graphical game. So that
maybe it was. Maybe it is.
Like I think maybe the be on the Wii and that crappy hardware just like it made you not as engaged. It didn't seem as fun, and you had to do the Wii motion.
Yes, you did. I'm just trying to like crush a person with a ship. Just let me do it. Why won't the Wii remote see it?
But I just like but the Lego Star Wars game definitely showcased the essence of Star Wars to me. Just silly, fun, kind of poking fun at itself. Like, and maybe I like the Lego games more, the Star Wars games more, because I'm more of a Star Wars fan than any of the other Lego games. Like, I like Harry Potter, but I'm not as much into Harry Potter. I like Batman, but I'm not as much into Batman, and maybe it just didn't resonate because I'm not as big of a fan of those things.
But like the Lego Star Wars game was like the first
first one
Lego game that got everyone's attention. Like, whoa, like Lego and Star Wars. And
I remember that. I thought that was the worst idea ever. I was like, this is stupid. Why are they?
I was like skeptical. I was like, I don't know what they're going to do that. But I thought it was just made for like kids. Like I thought it was just going to be like a kids thing.
Yep.
And then I was like, no, this is actually like a fully fleshed out, like legit game. And I love what they do with like the Star Wars type of violence. It becomes like very funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when Darth Maul dies, it's just like a humorous thing. Yep. Like, oh, where's my legs?
Yeah. Well,
the because it's just like Lego people.
The lack of like voiceovers and stuff, and that little like that Peanuts type of commentary.
Yeah. It's like vaudeville, right? Yeah. They're not like no talking, just kind of like making.
But we are getting a new Lego Star Wars game this year. Supposedly, there's no release date. They're doing the complete saga. So like they're doing.
Oh, that's right. All 9 movies.
Supposedly like revamping it. It's not going to be like your typical Lego game. It's like they're trying to make it really unique and open world. I don't know. It's like supposed to be very different, and I'm actually kind of excited for it because I love the Lego Star Wars games, and I just would love to play them again in like better graphical fidelity.
Ready for something new.
Even the Wii motion with the Lego Star Wars game was good because like you would just like waggle it to like build things, so you just would just sit there and just like go, like it just like there was something about that fit versus all the other ones. But I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it because it's just Lego Star Wars is good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's good.
I like the menu system. You had like a door for every single episode. Like you had like your little like central hub. Like I don't know. It was a fun game. So.
That is good. That is good. I have besides the Star Wars ones, the only other one I have experience with is the Lord of the Rings one, and we got like halfway through it, like Kristen and I playing it, and it was that kind of like each character's ability is so specialized that it's just like it was weird. Like it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really like capture our attention. But a lot of the things, like you were saying, like that kind of like physical humor about it, without any dialogue. Was kind of fun, kind of funny to see in like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, playing out in Lego. But like we got to the part with the Balrog, and the Balrog was like kind of it was as scary as like the original Ralph Bakshi Balrog, which is like a dude with a cape, like walking at Gandalf. Like it wasn't very scary at all. It was just weird. But no, on the same subject of kind of gimmicky games, but I think gimmicks that work, I would like to shout out WarioWare's Smooth Moves. Love that game. You introduced me to that game.
That was the first game we got for the Wii from my brother, because my brother got it first.
Oh my god, it was so good.
That was
funny.
Like, that was a month of good times. Let me tell you, like I have like so many different groups of friends like coming over to play that freaking game, and it got everyone involved. Like people that would normally come over and just like, like just sit there. Like we would never consider playing a video game with those people. Like we would just play a board game or cards or something like that. But that was the one that got everyone involved. So funny, so weird.
That's the thing. Like it hit the perfect. It was just that right amount of like weird humor to just like be like, what? Like really? Am I doing this? Okay.
Yeah.
And like it just like didn't take itself seriously, so you didn't take yourself seriously, so you didn't feel weird about like putting the Wiimote on your head and like balancing it for a minute, or the waiter.
It's just so funny. It's like I was watching some clips from it earlier, and it's just like because you didn't know what to expect, so everyone was in this kind of weird like, what game I'm playing next, like, and like one was just like opening a door. It's like, oh, open the door, just open the door. Or do a hula hoop thing, or like just like do the elephant. That was like,
or
I love how it give you
clean the tooth, clean the tooth with a.
It give you little instructions right before it too. It was so funny.
I really love the WarioWare games for Game Boy Advance. I really love that. Like I thought they were, because that's all they were, was like a series of mini games like that. I thought they were so good, and like the little stories that they had were pretty funny and quick, but. Yeah, I was glad to see that. I think that's what I'm missing nowadays. I wish there was something more Wario focused. I would also shout out Wario Land Shake It, or the Shake Dimension, as it's also called. It's like one of the last games for the Wii I played, but it's fun. It was like a Wario version of Super Mario World or Super Mario Land. Like it's just fun. But yeah, man, yeah, good honorable mention. I have one more for you.
Oh, I could probably go a lot longer too. I know we've been doing this a while. I could probably go ahead. What's your other one?
Okay, good, because I have like two more. I'm just... Can I shout out really quick though the Trauma Center games, New Blood?
Sure. I mean,
the Surgeon games.
You can't shout them out.
No, please let me shout them out. So we would play what I learned was the unofficial 2-player game. Kristen and I would play this. Do you know about this?
No.
So the unofficial 2-player to playing the Surgeon game, and all it is like with like the nunchuck you would grab things, and then with the actual like Wii remote you'd actually like make incisions and do like sew somebody up or remove something. One person holds the nunchuck, the other person holds the Wiimote, and you have to work together. It is like the surgeon and his assistant like passing, which is actually like a real thing. Like surgeons like learn, and like their assistants learn like how to correctly pass instruments to them. So we played this unofficial 2-player game. It is very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Is this like marriage therapy to do it that way? Does it help you like?
It's probably like your experience with Overcooked, but yeah, just kind of
Did you try the Overcooked like play style where you had to share a controller? Did you ever try that?
No, not sharing a controller.
That's an option,
no.
Just so you know.
Yeah, no, we've never done that. We get into enough arguments as we play it, but they're like we always like end on a positive note because we want to beat the game. So there's no. But like for this one, Kristen was like, "No, I'm out. You finish this game. I'll watch you play it. I don't care." But she refused to be my assistant anymore.
I never played.
My next honorable mention, though, for real though, is Rayman Origins. I've already talked about it at length.
I saw it on
in another episode, so I'm not going to talk too much. It's just a great platformer. If you like Rayman, if you're interested in like Mario games or any kind of platforming games, if you haven't tried Rayman, I suggest you start here and disregard everything that came before it. And
Except for
if you
Rayman
want to play the
64.
game that comes after it, that's fine too.
Rayman
But I feel
64
like
is a good game. It's a different game though.
yeah.
Or you can just get
It's
Rayman
more like
Legends because it has all the Origins levels in it. That's my defense.
you know what I've learned after some careful consideration and replaying. I've learned that it is not exactly Rayman Origins. It's just like Rayman Origins like remix. It's like some of the levels like similar to Origins, but done in the Legends style. But I will always defend Rayman Origins is a solid game from start to finish. Very satisfying. That's all I got to say about that. I left most of the time to talk about shout-outs than my actual honorable mention.
Gotcha.
I will say.
I want to shout out one game I played a lot of on the Wii, and it's funny because I'm going to the list, and this is how memorable this game was. So I'm actually a big fan of the Tales games. So like the JRPG games, they're like kind of like Final Fantasy. They're called the Tales.
Oh, okay.
Like Tales of
yes,
Symphonia, yes. Tales of Berseria, Tales of this, Tales of that.
Oh, I remember the one for Wii. Which one was that you're thinking of?
So it's called Tales of Symphonia: Dawn of the New World. That was the one that came out for the Wii. It's not what, but so the funny thing is, and whenever for the past like 5 years, because I played this game 10, 15 years ago, and for the past 5 years, I've only played 2 Tales games: Tales of Gaseous F and Tales of Berseria. That's the only 2 Tales games I've ever played. I've never played any other ones. But then I looked at the Wii games for this episode. I'm like, oh, that's right. I beat this game called Tales of Symphonia: Dawn of the New World.
You forgot about it.
Because I remember that was my first Tales game, and I definitely don't think it's as good as the other 2 that I played. I liked it. It was the only JRPG game that really I ever played on the Wii, and I finally beat it because I like committed myself to beating it. But I just didn't know it was considered a Tales game. It just didn't dawn on me. Dawn of the New World on me. But yeah, I just want to shout it out because it was actually a pretty good game. Now I think back to it, I just sucked at it because it used the motion controls. It made you do like weird things to like cast spells and do all these stupid things, and I was like really hard. But eventually I'm just like, oh, I can change the controls, I can turn this off, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just flying through this now. So it was a good game because all the Tales games are pretty good. But I just wanted to shout it out because I feel bad that I haven't mentioned it in a while. So I just wanted to say.
And you feel bad that you beat it and you completely forgot about it?
Yeah.
I'm sure the people involved in the making of the game are feeling better now, knowing that you've given them their due.
But I think what we should do is take a quick break because I have other things I could talk about, but I want to see what your favorite is. I just want to move on, and we can always do some. We always can do some honorable mentions after the fight favorites. Why not?
We can keep shouting out whenever we want.
Sure.
This is our show, damn it. We do what we want.
Our 50th show.
Right. Yes, our 50th anniversary. Our golden anniversary.
All right, well, let's take a quick break.
And we're back. Now, Justin, I know there are a lot of games for the Wii.
Yes,
a lot of games for the Wii.
I forgot about that for my Wii facts. I was going to mention that how many games there were.
How many are there?
There is, and
as of 2020.
This is not including the games on the Virtual Console or the WiiWare games. There are there are over 1,500.
Holy moly! 1,500?
Yeah, over 1,500. Wow. That's not including the 400 WiiWare games. And I didn't check the Virtual Classroom games.
But that's like Mega Man 9 and 10, right?
Yeah.
Those were WiiWare games.
That's right.
Oh my god.
So we're like apps like
Lost Winds,
Netflix. We're considered WiiWare.
Oh, okay, well. No, there were a ton of like those WiiWare games. That's how I played Cave Story. Actually, was buying it on the Wii. Was using like the last credits I had.
There was one Wii game I always wanted to play. It was called The World of Goo. I remember people really obsessed with that game for a while.
I don't know if I tried that game. I think I might have tried that game someplace. It sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
But
so,
anyways, there are a lot of games.
1,046. That's exactly.
Have you narrowed it down to one game that you like the most?
Yes. So I'm going to read the synopsis of this game for you. This is story time, okay?
Oh, okay.
I have a story for you. I'm going to read the plot, This is via Wikipedia because I wouldn't be able to explain it. I can stop
Okay.
eventually. So the story
All right.
follows Travis Touchdown, who is a stereotypical otaku. His motel room decorated with professional wrestling and anime collectibles. Living in
Mm-hmm.
near poverty in the No More Heroes motel of the fictional town of Santa Destroy,
Yep.
California. After winning a beam katana in an internet auction, he runs out of money to buy video games and wrestling videos. After meeting with Sylvia Christel, he accepts a job to kill Helter Skelter, also known as the Drifter, which earns him a rank 11 by the United Assassins Association, a governing body of assassins. Realizing he has the opportunity to make it to the top, he sets out to secure himself the coveted position of number one assassin in the UAA. I'm
Number
gonna
one.
Yep. And so I'm gonna skip over. So pretty much he fights a bunch of assassins, but then the game ends with Travis being attacked by another assassin before Henry saves by but before Henry saves him and challenges him to one last fight. It is during this fight that Henry reveals two plot twists. First, that he is Travis's twin brother, and second, that Sylvia is his wife, which would make her Travis's sister-in-law, and has a habit of disappearing before returning with lots of money, presumably due to conning people. Still locked in comment, the brothers discuss the nature of these revelations and their situation while they run down a long street. Finally, as the two leap towards each other, with the final clash, the screen flashes and revealed to be a painting hanging in an art gallery where there's a little girl, Jean, and her mother, Sylvia, are observing it. That's just to give you a little taste of how crazy this game can be. Where I guess there's another part too, where like Sylvia says that the UAA was just set up just so he can have like revenge on his mother. But
Oh, okay. That
yeah,
was the reason.
yeah,
If you haven't realized what game are we talking about here?
we're talking about No More Heroes is my
Yes.
favorite Wii game.
All right.
I absolutely love this game. I just wanted to play it so much, and I just look back. That's this is the game I think about when I think of the Wii. Like it's
Okay.
crazy that I have not brought up so many other Wii games that people adore and love, and what you think of when you think of Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But No More Heroes is just that one game. It's like that's what I wanted when I first saw the Wii. Was I wanted a lightsaber game. That's all I wanted. Was a
Yes.
lightsaber game.
Yes.
And this is the only one that was good, that worked, that was made sense. Was No More Heroes, and it was made by the Studio 7, I think is the name of the or grasshopper manufacturer, but it's I forget. There's another Studio 51. Sorry, that's what the nickname
Okay.
is.
Okay.
And they're just known for making a very weird games. I've never really played any of their other ones too much, but No More Heroes is like the first delving into it, and I absolutely adored it. I loved it, everything about it. It was just weird Japanese humor. It like had like a
Mm-hmm.
really interesting, unique story that made you just got you sucked in. The gameplay was kind of fun. Like I don't really remember too much about it, but it was just like hack and slash game, beat 'em up, but
You
with
got a
a
bike too, right? Did you get like a
yeah, there
motorcycle?
was like a kind of open worldness to it that I vaguely
Mm-hmm.
remember. I was reading about it. I'm like, I really don't remember too much about the gameplay, which is kind of funny. But like
Mm-hmm.
all I remember is just the sword battles and like the hack and slash stuff, and getting combos and like charging up your lightsaber with the most weird uh sexual innuendo in a video game ever.
Yes.
Um, but I
You got to
just
charge it.
yeah, it's just like I just oh man, the game was just so it just like it had those like anime twists and turns that were very over the top and very weird, and but it had like this weird like western element to it because it all like had this like it was like a Japanese person making a very western influenced game.
Yeah, that's really what I mean. His name is Travis Touchdown too.
Yeah,
Like that's.
and they
But
made it.
you're like,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
no. I'm just saying, like, and it's done in like the style of like the assassin movies, like those Japanese assassin
Yep.
movies, like Branded to Kill or Pistol Opera, where it's like, like there's the number one, like it's like a coded system of like, oh, who's the number one assassin, and the only way to move up is to kill the other assassin.
Yep.
No, it's good. It's good. Like, it's funny just how much it like tried to emulate those style of like Japanese yakuza movies. But I remember just like the little things about that game, the little touches that they put like on your health meter or like like that, like how you have to kind of jack off the Wii remote to charge up your energy blade. It was just like fun things like that, like
Yeah.
you would never expect. But they were like, they went there, they like pushed it all. They're like, oh, everybody knows what everyone, everyone's thinking the same thing when they're doing thing with the Wii remote. We're gonna make it. We're gonna do it very explicitly, so you know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, there's no, and the way
Something
he looks at
bold
the
about it.
screen, like he just all you see him is just like
Yeah,
standing.
he's like hunched over, like.
But like, I mean, just some of the like some of the cutscenes in that game were just so over the top and so wonky and weird. It just seems so out of place. One, on a Wii system, because you didn't really have a lot of mature games at all on the Wii. Like the few that did it, like you just
that's
like
true.
it just didn't do very well. They just didn't sell well because again, we talked about that. People that bought these systems didn't buy games like this.
No, you're right.
And like No More Heroes was stuck on the system. It was the only place you could get it. I think they eventually ported it later on. And like I just like, oh man, I was like so excited to get it. I wanted that, and the other one I wanted to get was Mad World, but I never got around to getting it.
I was going to shout that one out. You made the right choice. Mad World is okay at best. It's very like repetitive with its hack and slashing, but you made the better choice.
I just like
No More Heroes is the more fun game.
Well, yeah, like Mad World, just like the fact that it was all black and white drawn, just that appealed to me. Like it was more the aesthetic, I guess, than the actual combat. Yeah. But like
it loses its flair after a while.
Yeah, I bet. But like No More Heroes, just like I remember like one scene where I think it's like one of the first few assassins you're trying to find. Like when you enter, you have to he's inside of a stadium, like a baseball stadium or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And like when you walk in, like he's just singing like at the top on like a speaker, like on a microphone, and just like he's just doing this big flamboyant, big bombacious, all by himself, no one listening song. And it just like okay, this is what this game is. It's like it tried to give like some sort of like quick, very like in-depth story of these people that you're about to kill very fast, and then you had a really awesome battle that were hard. The game was actually very challenging, especially when you got to the boss battles. But there's just something. Oh man, it's just something I really just wanted to go beat every single assassin, and it's been so long since I played it. I'd love to revisit it and play it again. And the funny thing is, it's like by the time I beat that game and loved it and adored it, they announced it No More Heroes 2. I wanted to play it really bad because I love the first one so much, but then I had already moved on away from the Wii. I didn't want to play with the Wiimote anymore. I just lost that flavor, like that. I really didn't like that controller. Completely honest, I hated holding the Wii and the nunchuck. It just felt so off to me after a while when you went back to that normalcy of a regular controller. Because I had bought a 360 by that point, and I'm just like, I don't want to go holding that other controller anymore. Like it just didn't feel right to me anymore. And I'm really excited. Actually, they're making a No More Heroes 3, and it's coming out supposedly this year for the Switch. So maybe I'll be revisiting it again soon.
That would be interesting. I'm very intrigued to see what it would look like for the Switch. I bet it would be very fun. I mean, I bet it's going to have you like doing all sorts of things. It's going to make your life interesting while you play it. It's going to be all these new bells and whistles.
Have you seen the trailer for the new one yet?
No, there is a trailer for it?
Yeah, it came out. Well, they announced it like last year, and it's like aliens come and stuff. It's like nuts. It's like.
All right, good. I didn't even know. I didn't play any of the second one. I think I've only ever played the first one. I think I played it with you. Like you had showed me the game. It certainly seemed fun enough, and I really do like that kind of art style to it, and like the whole. Wasn't it like you go to the bathroom to save the game? Was that it too?
Yeah,
it sounds like
that. There was like jobs you
like a Dead Rising thing.
You had there was like a weird open element to it, like open world element to it, and I don't even remember that part of the game because that really didn't matter because when you went actually to fight the bosses, you would go through like that. It felt there were like levels, so like you're just like open world going to levels, and then it just be out like beat 'em up brawler, like go through like a bunch of different hallways. Oh, the other thing too is like you would get phone calls, and it would like go on the Wiimote, so you would actually hold up the Wiimote to your ear. And,
I remember that. Yeah, you'd have to like to listen to the phone call.
Like it was such a bonkers game, and I just like you can't Like I can't think of playing the PS4 and holding up the PS4 to my because you can have the speaker on the PS4, but like it wouldn't feel right? Because it's not like a cell
It's
phone.
not shaped like a phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't do the same thing. That's why I like games like that. That like push you to use all the functions that like a controller or a system can do.
Mhm.
That's why like I don't know. There's something about like
That's what
that kind of.
Nintendo is good at is they make
Mhm.
their games or they find people that will make a game because obviously Studio 51 is not a
Yeah,
Nintendo
yeah.
game,
It's not a Nintendo
but they
Studio,
find
but.
people that are going to make games for their system.
Hmm.
The Switch is kind of like a unique thing. Like the games that they make are for the system, but yet it kind of can go so many different directions now just because of the portability. I think that's what changed that.
Sure,
But like
sure.
I think they do make games specifically for the system, and a lot of the games were made for the Wii U, and I think it still works in the Switch mentality too because you have that like it's like you're holding it like this, like the tablet. But I don't know. It's just the Nintendo's always been big at that. Like they're always trying to beat. A lot of people say they go at the beat of their own drum. They don't care about the powerhouse graphics and following the
Hmm.
normal video game trajectory. But that works for them, and that puts them in a separate category. Where I think a lot of people buy a Nintendo and the system. They buy a Nintendo.
Exact. We talked about this way back in I forget which episode we talked about it, but like the idea that Nintendo kind of like took itself out of the console wars, and it's like, no, we're going to make Nintendos, and
Yep.
you can still buy your PC, your Xbox, your PlayStation, but you'll probably also want a Nintendo system as well.
Yeah.
Like we're not directly competing with them. We may have some of the same games, but we're doing our own thing. Like
Yeah.
you need somebody like Nintendo to like kind of push the envelope of like what gaming can be and like
Yep.
challenge the medium. No, no, absolutely. Um, I'm sad to say that my favorite game doesn't really challenge the medium so much and actually just kind of rehashes the past, and it's Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Oh boy, really?
I love this game. I love this game. I love this game. I love it so much. I can't bear to play the Tropical Freeze game just yet. I know it's good. I know
That's
it's
my
good.
favorite
I
Donkey
get
Kong.
it.
That's my favorite Donkey Kong, and that's for someone that didn't like Donkey Kong. I've never
See,
really
like
liked the
I've
Donkey Kong
I've
games.
always liked Donkey Kong games though. That was the first Super Nintendo or the first like console that I was actually like that I got. Like it was a gift, and it was It was not the Super Mario one. It was just Donkey Kong Country and the Super Nintendo, and I played the hell out of it. And I loved the second one. I liked the third one, and I skipped Donkey Kong 64, and here I am playing Donkey Kong Country Returns. Like it's either the three original for Super Nintendo and then this one. That's all that
Let me
mattered
just
to
say
me.
one thing: it's okay that you skipped Donkey Kong 64. It's okay.
I think I played it. I think a friend of ours had it, and I tried it, and I was like, "This is
It's not
not
Donkey
for
Kong.
me."
It's not the
No, it's
same.
more Banjo Kazooie style. I don't
Yeah,
know. It
it's a
seems more of
collectathon.
like
I didn't like it. It was.
it is a collectathon. But no, I love this game. I have problems with the game though. I feel like it could have been the Kremlins and King K. Rool as the villains, and not just some pieces of wood. But that's what they are. They're tiki. They're tiki guys. I remember my nephew loved this game. He just kept calling them the tiki guys. But they're like, like I forget what they call them. Like totem poles. They're like the faces in the totem pole like come to life. But they're just pieces of wood. They possess the animals in the jungle and turn them against Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. That's not what matters. The story is inconsequential. The bosses are pretty decent. The level design is really fun. It is some really fun platforming. If you like any of the Donkey Kong Country games that were for the Super Nintendo, like you would dig this one. I know that people love the Tropical Freeze game though, and I think a lot of people play the Tropical Freeze without playing this one.
That's probably
But
true.
we I think
We
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 100%ed this game. We completed everything. We got all the puzzle pieces. We found all the hidden items. We got all the Kong letters in every level. We unlocked like a secret level at the very end, like a post game level where you're just like jumping through giant fruit in the sky, like above the clouds. Um, but it was legitimately fun. It was such a challenge to actually, like beat it and complete it all the way and getting all the bonuses. Like, it's tough. That's what I like
Yeah.
about Donkey Kong games. It's not necessarily collecting all those things. It's getting all of them. It's like the process of getting them is fun. It's like the actual like challenge. In a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of Celeste in that you can just kind of like replay those same kind to get the strawberries. It's like, oh, I know what I got to do. I got to do this. I got to do this. And then I got to jump over here, and then I got to wait. And then it's like that same kind of like strategy and planning, and then finally you get it, and it's so worth it.
All I can say with this, because I didn't play Donkey Kong Country Returns, is you're gonna love Tropical Freeze.
I know I will. I'm just not ready to let that be my.
I have not played the Switch version, so I never played with the funky mode yet, so I don't know how that is. There's supposed to be a funky mode.
Oh, a funky mode. Oh, so with Funky Kong?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I always wondered if they would bring him in. I guess in the next one, I heard that they were going to bring in Candy Kong, Donkey Kong's girlfriend from the first Donkey Kong Country.
Are they making another one? I don't even know. I haven't heard.
I think so.
They're always making one. But no, that's a good. You know what? I saw that list and I did think that you'd bring that up because I know your love for Donkey Kong games. I have nothing against Donkey Kong games. I think it's just because I think a lot of the good ones were on Super Nintendo. So I didn't own a Super Nintendo, so I just kind of missed out. Like whenever I played them, it was always when I was in like a Walmart or not Walmart, but like a department store.
Sears.
Yeah, I would just
Sears had the console.
I would just play like the first level, and that's all I would play. And then it's like I didn't really have any friends that had it, and if I did have a friend that had it, I'd play the first level again, and just never got into it because I didn't have it to play. It wasn't until Tropical Freeze that I really got into those kind of games. But no, that's a good choice. I do have to bring up other games though. I feel like this is a very hard game to narrow it down to a few things.
Do you have any shout outs you like to burn off?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to mention Mario Galaxy. I mean, I'm surprised we haven't brought it up. Like,
I guess too. Yeah, it's fun.
It is a great Mario game, considering that the only Mario game we had before that was Sunshine, which I love Sunshine as well. It just Mario Galaxy brought back that Mario 64 vibe that I've never had before. And there are some people that adore Galaxy and probably would say, like, how could you not make this an honorable mention or a favorite? But I guess we've had our favorite Mario episode. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. We didn't even talk about Mario Galaxy. And like,
we didn't.
There's something about like there's other Mario games I'd rather play or have a bigger connection with. I adored it. The one thing I'll give Mario Galaxy is the music, like the orchestral like music of that game really gets you into the levels, like, and I feel like that's all I remember from it is just the music part. Like the levels themselves are awesome, and like the concept of being like the gravity and going around a planet is cool, but it didn't have the same vibe as like say Mario 64, where like each painting with its own little element. Like I felt like Mario Galaxy just with a little mini planets, and I don't remember much of it. It just seems all blended together. It's like, yeah, I was on a bunch of balls running around.
Yeah, but I like at first, like part of that was cool too. Yeah, like what you're saying, like the gravity mechanic, like you could jump, like if you could figure out how to jump like high enough, you could like get pulled into the gravity of another little ball or another little planet. But I mean, yeah, like it was a fun game. Is it something that I would say is like one of my favorite Mario games? Like no, no, and I think I played through all of the first one, and I started the second one. And when I started the second one, I was like,
me too. I couldn't.
Nah.
I got the second one. I was all excited about it, and people say the second one is better than the first one. But I was so burnt out from the first, because the only thing that was better about the second one was that they got rid of the hub world. So like you just are just going through levels. It's like a little like grid that you follow, like a pathway.
Oh, okay.
The second one, where the first one you had to like kind of like it's sort of they try to do like the castle.
You were like.
Again.
Yeah, you were like rebuilding it and like kind of accessing different parts of it as you progressed.
I never got the second one. I was like, I just couldn't get into it. It was weird. But I just want to shout it out though, because it is a really, really good Mario game. And I don't think they really had a, like there wasn't really a, like since Galaxy, there wasn't really one like that on the Wii U. And so like Odyssey wasn't until that one just like blows it out of the water to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That seems more like 64 though than Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, no, but
the
I'm saying like,
Odyssey
well,
look
I'm
and
just saying
style.
as far as like 3D Mario games because you didn't have one
Sure,
on the Wii U.
sure.
Um,
No, you got the new Super Mario Brothers Wii U or new Luigi Brothers or something.
yeah,
I want to. I'll shout out new Super Mario Brothers too.
and
In
Nintendo
another
Wii.
episode I've embarrassed myself in saying like I know it's a game for babies, but I love it.
It's not a
It's
game for
not
babies.
necessarily. It's fun. It's good. It's challenging.
Do you have a shout out too, or do you have
Yeah,
any?
I would like to shout out Sonic Colors.
Oh,
The only good Sonic game I could think of in the last 15 years.
hey, you have to play Sonic Mania then.
Okay, Mania was no, I did play Mania. That's right. That was, but okay, before Mania, all we had was Sonic Colors. Like,
True.
it's not even like great. It's good, but there are so many terrible. I mean, also for the Wii was Sonic and the Black Knight,
Yes.
which is just god awful. But anyways, just Sonic Colors. It's a fun game to check out.
I feel like I do need to bring up a Zelda game. And
do you want to talk about the first one or the last one?
I don't know. That's the hard part with this one. It's like I would say of all the 3D Zelda games, like these are like kind of like my least favorite ones. And
I really wanted to like Skyward Sword, dude. I really wanted to like it. I think I liked the story.
There's a rumor that it's being remade for the Switch. And
I've heard that.
And I would love to play that game again without the motion controls, just to see if I would like it more. I actually really, when Twilight Princess came out, because that was the launch game, like I fell in love with that game. Like I was like, oh wow, this is like the future of gaming. This game was phenomenal. Like I loved it. Yep. It was really cool. I liked using the waggle with the sword because I've never had done a waggle before, and
I've never waggled before.
But then after a while, I'm just like, I look back at it, I'm like, it was just a rehash of. Like I get like the thing with Twilight Princess is a really weird analogy, but it's what people say about the Force Awakens and Star Wars. It's like, oh, it's just a rehash of A New Hope. To me, Twilight Princess is a rehash of Ocarina of Time, and just with a waggle, and like
with a waggle,
and you become a wolf, and like I guess like the more I mean, there's some really interesting stories. I like the final boss. I like Midna. There's some really cool concepts there. But like, there's just so many other Wii games that speak to me more. I love Zelda. I'm a huge Zelda fan. It's just those two Zelda games don't stick to me like other Zelda games. Like it's really weird.
They were important when they came out, and we all bought into the hype. We all like loved them instantly, and but time has not been kind to them.
Yeah.
And what we've seen that like what a Zelda game could be, even like on a DS, like on the 3DS, like A Link Between Worlds is a better game, I think, than Twilight Princess. I'm sorry to say.
I'll probably agree with that without playing it. Sure, I've never played Link Between Worlds.
I haven't finished it, but I played a good deal of it, and I would also say that like Skyward Sword, I really wanted that to be good, but it felt like just Twilight Princess with like a new setup, like a new coat of paint. Like it was the same kind of stuff, the same kind of problems, same kind of like items you use once or twice in the game, and you don't really use them again.
Well,
use them to fight that boss. That's it.
It became formulaic. Like I mean, it was following
so formulaic.
I mean, they changed it up where they made each like level you went to in Skyward Sword to be its own, like almost like its own dungeon. Like you getting up to like the dungeon was a dungeon.
Yeah.
But, like I there was just like there's things about that game that but like honestly, like I have more memory of what happened in Skyward Sword because of the story, because of the art style, and honestly, the fight with Ganon at the end is awesome. Learning about demise and the history, and like in the sword, it's like it was so good.
I forget what that dude's name is. The guy you're fighting the whole time with his like fancy haircut and his flamboyant ways.
Yeah, he's good too.
Whatever his name is, that moment when Demise comes back and just like, and he's like, "I'm here to serve you, my lord," and he just like reaches in and pulls a sword out of him. He's like, "Yep, thank you. You served your purpose."
It's like Gilead or something or some of the G.
Gilead.
I'm googling it, but I just.
But no, I said, like I think the story of Skyward Sword is really interesting. I liked it. I liked the idea that this was like an origin Zelda story, kind of like, and it focused more like on the goddess and how the Triforce is like created, and it was more of a story similar to Wind Waker in that it was like I don't know, it was a different way of telling the Zelda story.
Well, yeah, because
I liked it.
Wind Waker takes place way in the future, where Skyward's way early on. So it's like I feel like that's why it felt right. Where all the other ones, like we've already been through that. Like, oh, you're the next chosen one, and go find all the pieces.
Princess Zelda, and
it's Girahim. Girahim is his name.
Girahim.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, his fights were always tough too. Like those were. Especially maybe because you were waggling, it wasn't easy, and like he'd put his hand up, with like where you were trying to.
Yeah, you have to like angle.
How could that never be? How could that be not fun at any time? Yeah, man, Skyward Sword. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what they do for a remake of it, but it's hard to redeem. I mean, that was like the end of a Zelda era. Like I feel like they put an end. That was like the last like really formulaic Zelda game, because after that they did it was The Link Between Worlds came after that, and then the Hyrule Heroes that like kind of like you had it for Wii U. What the hell was that?
That's Hyrule Hero. That doesn't count though. That was a spin-off. That was made by somebody.
But I mean, what I'm saying is like that they were trying new things with Zelda again. They were like, okay, let's go back to like a Link to the Past style of gaming and like change the rules up of that a little bit, because in that one like rupees really matter. I just if you haven't played A Link Between Worlds, because you rent the tools that you need, like the equipment, you can just get it at any time.
Yeah, you can go
exactly. I think that like that's cool. Like they're playing with the formula, and then Breath of the Wild, of course, blew everybody away.
Yeah,
I haven't played it myself yet. I'm gonna get there, but like that's the direction Zelda is going, and I think that's really positive. But at the time with the Wii, we liked them. They were fun. We liked it because it was Zelda, and we loved Zelda.
Do you remember the initial Wii?
Time hasn't treated it well.
They had this amazing Zelda like trailer where they announced the Wii though. It was just like awesome cinematic. It's fighting like a spider or something like that, and it's just like it looked like a kind of representation of Ocarina of Time, but in way better graphics and like awesome.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I want that. That's what made me excited for the Wii. And then they never. That was just a demo. It never came
just
out.
A demo.
It never did anything with it. I'm just like, I like Twilight Princess, but that was technically, it was actually just a GameCube game they just brought over to the Wii. That's all it was. And it wasn't. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't bad. I thought it was cool. I liked the ending where you fight the boar with Ganon on the horse, and like there were some really cool things with it. But like looking back,
he takes forever to die too in Twilight Princess. He's just kind of like, once you kill him, he's just kind of like standing in a field with his cape blowing behind him, and he's like, I am dead.
Yeah.
How did it come to this? He talks for another hour, but that's not what we're going to do.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk for another hour here about Zelda.
Probably our longest episode yet, which is perfect 450, I guess. But I'm surprised it was about the Wii.
We had 1,500 games to choose from. I think we did a pretty good job.
That's right.
Well, Justin, why don't you tell our listeners and viewers what are we going to be doing next week?
Well, we had so much fun doing favorite bad movie, because I don't know what I have
quote unquote.
I was doing quotations on the video version.
Maybe bad to some people.
But we're gonna continue that lovely conversation and talk about favorite bad TV shows.
Yeah, so these are like guilty pleasures. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to doing this, and also hearing what you got to say about this. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Now I got to figure out what's considered a bad TV show. That's the one. They're not bad to me.
You can't necessarily use all the anime you watch, but you may be able to use one or two.
I'm talking about Keijo. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Keijo all day long.
Oh God, is that the butt sport, whatever?
Yeah, that's correct.
Sure. Well, Justin, this has been Playing Favorites. I'm Paul.
And I'm Justin.
Let's do it again next episode.